Hello everyone, it's Josh here with Solo Chip Abroad, and we are in the beautiful Bali, Indonesia. Today I wanted to make a quick video about my review for Apple Watch. So there are a few things I wanted to talk about today, and I'm going to highlight 4 things on my experience over the past 2.5 months having Apple Watch. If you don't know how I picked up this Apple Watch and want to hear a bit of the story behind it, I would highly recommend you check out the link below. It details my experience in Kuala Lumpur, where I met this really interesting homeless man, and he gave me some perspective on life as I was about to go and purchase the watch. So if you haven't seen that, check out the link below and read the blog post there. The first thing I want to talk about today with the Apple Watch is that I have wanted it for a super long time, ever since I was living and working in Toronto at the Apple store there, and the first edition came out. I really wanted to get my hands on it. I thought it was amazing for the activity, even just as a normal watch, and for a lot of the compatibility and the interaction that it had with iPhone. So I've been really excited to get it for a while, but I ended up holding out until Series 3 came out, which is this one here. I have the sport model, and it's really great. I'm really enjoying it. Today we're going to talk about 4 things that I really like about it. So the first thing is the camera control. Now, there are some things I really like about this and some things that I think Apple could work to improve on this. So let's start with the things that I really like. As a yoga teacher, I often include yoga content from my yoga Instagram account. You can check that out, Align432 Yoga on Instagram. I have a link below for that. And I need to make video content for my yoga or photo content. And those of you who know, the Apple Watch actually has a remote camera function, which works really great if you're in a pose or you're doing something on the mat and you just have yourself and nobody else around. It's really annoying to get everything all positioned and then put the timer on and then run into the pose. Apple Watch sort of helps that out. They do have the preview on the screen, which is great because you can get into the pose for the most part, and then you can initiate the shutter from the watch. Now that's cool if your hands are available. If your hands are not available, say you're doing headstand or handstand or any other of the number of poses where your hands are not available to click the button, then it's no good. So of course there is the timer function, and this is one of the things that I don't like. I feel Apple really dropped the ball on this. Is on the phone there's a 3-second and a 10-second timer, but on the watch there's only a 3-second. Now if you know how to do handstand and you can get into handstand perfectly in less than 3 seconds after hitting that, amazing. Let me know how you do it, because I can't figure it out. So that means that I need to go in a different direction, do video recording, then take a screenshot of the video when I'm in handstand or headstand or whatever, and use that, and often the quality's not as good, and a bunch of other stuff. Another area that I would really like to see Apple improve in the watch is the ability to shift in between camera modes. So while it's great in that I can get into a pose, tap the shutter, hold the pose, and then it takes it, and I did try this one day. I was able to bang out about 50 or 60 different poses, and it happened really fast, and I was grateful for that. It's just that last 10-15% that I really need Apple to step the game up. And one of those is, okay, yeah, I can take the photo, but now I want to go to video, and there's just some basic functionality that they need to include. So if you've ever seen the watch do it, there's like a little screen, and it shows the preview, and then about a third of the screen shows the previous photo, the shutter, and the timer option. And really all you need to do is swipe. That's all they need to add, right? I should be able to swipe on the screen and have it go to video, or to slow-mo, or to portrait, or whatever I want it to do, but that is not a function that's included. There is the force touch function that does allow for turning on and off things like HDR, autofocus, flip the camera, and those are great, but why do you need to flip the camera if you're remotely using the watch to take a picture of yourself? Because then you're no longer taking a picture of yourself. And if you're not taking a picture of yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're not, you use the watch to initiate your own picture. So if you're not initiating your own picture, then you can just take it on the phone. Maybe there's some other situation that Apple corporate thought was way better, but it'd be really cool just to turn it to video, or to, to change the timer. Just saying. Facts from the real world over here. Anyways, so the camera function, really nice. Let's go to number 2 is music control. Again, as a yoga teacher, there are some things I really like about this. So say for example, I'm doing a class. When I was working in Phuket, I would just connect my phone to a Bluetooth speaker or plug it in physically, and then as I'm walking around, because I don't stand at the front and do all the poses, I'll often walk around and do adjustments and this kind of stuff. It's really nice that I can change the song or I can change the volume, and that's really helpful, especially for example when you want a song to repeat, or you feel that some songs are getting louder. I know that there's volume control, but it's not always the case. So just having that functionality on there is really nice, and then it avoids you going and playing with your phone, and it's really subtle. So I am grateful for that. Again, one area of improvement is that this only controls the phone. I don't know why. There should be an option on here where you can, it knows what devices you have connected just using your Apple ID or the local devices on the Wi-Fi or connecting via like AirPlay. So, you know, I was in some circumstances where there was no Bluetooth and there was no auxiliary option, and I lost my lightning to headphone jack adapter down a drain one day. So that's another story. So long story short, in some circumstance, I had to use my iPad to plug it in via auxiliary, and then I couldn't use this functionality. And for a lot of people who have iPhone and iPad only, obviously you'll use the speakers on the iPad for your music control, and what good is it to have an iPad that your Apple Watch can't even control the music on? You know, yeah, there are some people who primarily listen to music only on their phone, and that's people who only have a phone. But if you have other devices, it just seems really weird. Now there is the remote function for the Mac, but again, Apple is not showing any love to playing music on the iPad, which is really weird because I have the 12.9-inch model, and the speakers on that are amazing. And just sometimes I want to control the volume, and you can't. So another opportunity there. The third option is the workout analytics or the activity analytics. This was one of the primary reasons why I did want the Apple Watch and why I've ended up purchasing it. So some of them, like there are apps on there that you can use for tracking your hikes, and that's really cool. I have used that a little bit, very nice to use. Other options include like just recording the yoga sessions that I do. Back when I was in Phuket, I'd be doing 2 to 3 yoga classes per day, sometimes even more, and having those metrics was really helpful to see in the health app how active I was being, and to be able to log that over time and to use it as inspiration. So that's really nice. And just getting a general idea on my step count. There's been some speculation that the iPhone doesn't really record it as accurately, and I've heard from other friends who work at the Apple Store that the count from when they had the iPhone and then they got the Apple Watch doing the same level of activity roughly is quite large. So having the Apple Watch definitely does add more accurate measurement. So a really cool thing there was the workout analytics. The other thing, the fourth thing, is the health analytics. That was a big one for me. I'm really focusing on building my heart strength, and the heart is just so important, but it's also the cause of so many diseases and problems in life, and I wanted to be much more aware of that. So having the functions on the Apple Watch, such as the heart rate monitor, really helpful and gives me a good idea of how efficient my heart is, and how high my heart is pumping when I'm doing my activities is really great to know, especially because I can see those metrics over time in the health app, and I can use those to go and talk with my doctor when I need to. So really cool. Unfortunately, I'm spending a lot of time in Asia, and most of the doctors here don't tie into like all the health data and the medical records and all that stuff, so I can't get any of the information into the health app, but such is life. The other thing that I really like using for the health analytics is actually an app called Sleep Tracker that tracks my sleep obviously overnight. And what I really like about this is that there's a number of variables in the app that you can use to determine how effectively you're sleeping. So for myself, I include like how long it's been since I've ate before I go to sleep, if I have the curtains open, if I have AC on, how much yoga I've done for the day, all kinds of stuff. And this gives me a really good idea of how to optimize my sleep so that I can get more rest, so I can be more productive and active during the day. So overall, I'm very happy with the Apple Watch. I would say out of a 5, I would give it a 4.3 because some of those lack of functionality in the camera control and the music control are really big issue, but I don't want to go down to a full 3.5 or 4 because I know that Apple could easily introduce those in software updates. As with most things Apple, it's just a matter of waiting, which is kind of annoying because it's very obvious that this is not something that's a technological delay or incapability. It's simply a matter of somebody at corporate and enough people getting behind the idea to push it forward. So it is what it is. I can't really complain too much. I am really grateful to have the Apple Watch, and it's been very helpful, especially having the GPS on here when I'm doing my runs. I can actually look on the health app and it will show me the layout of that run and how far it's been and all that other stuff. So I'm really pleased with that. If I would get the cellular version, I don't know. I mean, being in Asia, there's not, like, I'm sure if I was still living in China, it might be more of a consideration. I'm sure one of those carriers would pick it up, but I'd be really worried about it being compatible with other carriers around the world. Right now, it's not really a huge thing for me to worry about. Most of the time, I do have my iPhone with me. That being said, I do enjoy having gone for runs at the beach, and it is really nice just to initiate a run workout and then to know that it will record my location and my metrics without needing the iPhone. That being said, the next piece of Apple gear that I am going to be picking up is, of course, the Apple AirPods. I think this is going to be a great addition for when I'm hiking, when I'm running, and especially for when I'm doing yoga, because I can set music on my phone. And right now there are circumstances when I would love to be playing music, but I can't be playing it out loud because it disturbs other people. Say for example, if you're at a studio and you're warming up before class, or if you're somewhere where you need to be quiet, you can't be playing music out loud, and I really love listening to music while I'm practicing yoga, or sometimes just listening to a lecture. So having the Apple AirPods is great because I'm no longer connected via the cord to my iPhone or my iPad for listening to music, which obviously would just get in the way, and they're really good for just working with the Apple Watch. And this would be really nice too because then I can still record my hikes and I can still play music without having to bring my phone, and that's really nice, especially because if you're doing something pretty extreme, you don't want to worry about falling and breaking the screen on your iPhone or just having that extra weight if it's just a short-term hike but you want to do something rather quick. So that's my review on Apple Watch. It's been 2.5 months. I'm really enjoying it. Still some things that I think Apple should work on, but overall I'm very pleased with the purchase and would highly recommend that you get one if you have an iPhone. Who doesn't have iPhone? And that's all for my review today. So thank you so much for watching, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having an amazing, amazing day. Peace.